Congratulations, Eden, on your 100th episode. We at the Denver Center Theater Company love what you're doing for the arts and culture in this town. And we're especially pleased with your dedication to in-depth programming. With the constantly changing world of media, we're delighted to have a program of this caliber that serves all of the local arts and cultural organizations here. Thank you. Keep it up. And here's to 100 more.
Welcome to INFocus with Eden Lane.
Hi, I'm Eden Lane. It's hard to believe that in our first 4 seasons we've reached 100 episodes and barely scratched the surface of what the creative community in Colorado has to offer. Well, tonight's Scrapbook edition will be a brief look back at just a few highlights and some special messages from members of the community. I hope you like it.
Hi, I'm Ali Mazi.
And I'm Mamie Paris from Wicked. Congratulations on 100 shows.
We begin our look back where our show began, back at the Curious Theater Company's Denver Stories event, and our very first guest, Governor Bill Ritter.
We're lucky enough to have our first stop on the red carpet be with Governor Ritter himself. Hello, Governor Ritter.
How you doing?
Great.
Good to see you, Eden.
Have you seen the play that's been written about your life?
No, I did see a script of it, and didn't get much editorial control, although enough to be very comfortable that they're really sensitive, because I mean, making somebody's, trying to walk through somebody's life in a little amount of time and do it with some sensitivity, because we all have, pits and peaks and valleys, and they were great about how they did it. Oh, I think, art in all of its forms is a way that completes us. And it doesn't have to be, theater, it can be painting, it can be music. There are just so many different ways, but we're not, I think, complete without it, and certainly as a community not. We've got the Denver Center for Performing Arts. That's just a wonderful complement to everything else in this town, but these kinds of things, which are really, in a sense, not 16 or 14th Street DCPA, but still really important cultural events where people get to appreciate the beauty of the arts. I can't tell you how much I think that means to the Denver community, the metropolitan community, and ultimately to Colorado.
Great. Thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you. It's really nice seeing you. Thank you.
Our next stop is at the Pikes Peak Writers Conference in Colorado Springs, where New York Times best-selling author Jeffery Deaver, who's continuing the James Bond series, talks about the craft of writing.
And in their lecture about the craft today, you really sort of hit home with lots of them. You could see them all nodding and understanding your counsel about treating it as a craft. How did you get to develop that philosophy for yourself?
I bought about 10 books of authors I admired. That would be people like John le Carré, for instance, Frederick Forsyth, Robert Ludlum, because I write in the thriller genre. And I outlined their books. I pulled them apart. I studied them, I outlined them, I took notes, and I realized what they did right. I looked at my books and saw what I did wrong. So I formulated basically what I would call a schematic of writing the sort of thriller that I do. I stuck to that, and immediately on taking that, let's call it a manufacturer's approach to writing novels, my books became much more popular. You're not going to get on an airplane that hasn't been built according to specifications. Why should you pick up a book that isn't built the same way?
Colorado filmmakers have played an important part of our show, and we followed one pair through to their world premiere.
It's the first night of the Vail Film Festival, and we're here for the world premiere of The Inner Room at the Cinebistro. Come on.
The Cinebistro is a special concept in moviegoing. In addition to the lounge in the lobby, you can have full tableside service right at your theater seat with a gourmet meal. And the team from The Inner Room took full advantage of their very first screening, the world premiere of their first feature film. Ballet Nouveau Colorado is another world-class dance company we've been able to feature. Our first visit was while they were preparing for their first appearance at the Arvada Center. It was also the first year under new artistic direction of Garrett Ammon.
The program is rock ballets. It's Queen and INXS and David Bowie, right?
Yes.
How does it feel to try to take the vernacular of ballet and stick it to that kind of music? How does that feel to you?
when it comes to Garrett's movement, it's easy. I mean, it's so much fun. It's like this sort of American pop ballet dance folk thing, and it's
American pop ballet dance folk
thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you hear music, you hear pop music or rock music, and it's fun to do that too. You know, it just works. It just happens, and it's extremely organic, and yeah, I think we were all really excited to know we were going to be coming back to this show to do this summer, to know we were going to be doing Garrett's work and a show that we had a lot of success with, and that we felt so strong about, and we had so much fun with. I think that's what we were really excited about, knowing we were going to come and do this show this summer.
The Queen section was the first real imprint that Garrett had on your company when he came here, right? Yeah. And then, of course, the INXS ballets were work he did at Memphis. Yes. And is the David Bowie section, is that new?
Yes.
Yes. That was your first exposure to your new artistic director. What went through your mind?
Perfect. Slash, yeah. How do I do that? I don't understand that step. I mean, what is that? For me, it was like just really keep an open mind and just whatever happens, go with the flow, see how things are gonna feel, and and I would say the moment that we met them, at least for me, it was like, okay, this is gonna feel really great. Like this is gonna be a dream come true. And then to work with him in the studio and to have first seen his movement, and yeah, it was like, okay, this is home.
The Cherry Creek Arts Festival was another important segment for us, not just for its own content, but it allowed us to meet some artists that we otherwise might not have. As you can see behind me, we're here at the Cherry Creek Arts Festival. We're going to follow some student art buyers from Centennial Elementary and see what they choose for their school. We'll also have a chance to visit two of the local artists who are exhibiting here at Cherry Creek Arts Festival, one for the very first time. Colorado artist Casey Horn showed us how he makes calligraphy sculptures by bending metal. He got a little help from his daughters explaining it to us.
This one's evening. This is like the dark sky and the rising moon, like how the lightness is disappearing into the dark sky.
Oh, I see it.
The sun is going away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually a one-of-a-kind vessel. It's fabricated out of stainless steel sheet.
Which is what we saw you cutting out.
Right, so rather than working in clay, I build everything out of sheet metal originally. A lot of sculptors work in clay or stone, and I work directly in the metal itself. So all of these pieces you see here, each facet is a separate sheet of bronze or stainless steel that I cut out and then bend and weld together. So as I'm constructing, as I'm sculpting it, it's basically a box form. Wow. And then once I finish an original sculpture, we make a mold and do a limited edition casting. And you saw me grinding one of those cast pieces. And the piece I was grinding belongs to this piece here, Fire.
And these colors that we're seeing here, that's what we saw you doing
with the patina process.
With the squirt bottle
and the flame, the torch. Basically what you do is you force the surface of the metal to oxidize by using acids.
We also had many visits at the Tedder Cover bookstore. Here's one where we met Corinne Platt and Meredith Ogilvy. This highlight includes a glimpse of their wonderful photographs. So because you both live here, you have a connection to the subject matter, to the West, the current voices of the West, as you said, that you set out to do in a much more personal way. How did that maybe either help or make it more difficult to explore all those different opinions?
If we were predisposed, it hindered us. But we started learning right away from everyone we interviewed. So I think that helped. I mean, I guess you could call us both greenies, certainly. But we became pro-rancher greenies, and I mean, we started growing.
It was a fascinating comment you made about your perception of ranchers changed in this project.
Especially Corinne's.
Mine especially, because I started out with the attitude that all cows on the land are awful. And boy, we met some ranchers, and they were the most interesting, kind, generous, wonderful people. You know,
and their view of the land on which they live is very different than you might think.
They would have always called themselves stewards of the land, but they were really in today's West, not all ranching, but they're looking at the land sustainably now, and they are trying to combine forces with environmentalists and scientists and ecologists and taking control of their product in a different way.
We've also covered legislation impacting the creative community in Colorado. At a press conference, Governor Ritter outlined 3 initiatives designed for the 5th largest employer segment in Colorado. And we got reactions after the announcement, and students hope for the future. Held in the Newell Design Studio in Rhino District, Design North. And we were able to bring you to the Art Institute for Governor Ritter's signing of these bills. 2010 was our first visit to Colorado Ballet and their 50th anniversary. Here are some highlights of my conversation with Gil Boggs, Artistic Director of the company. So how would you describe the company? How would you describe Colorado Ballet to someone who wasn't really familiar with it?
Colorado Ballet is a company that is dedicated first and foremost to classical ballet. The full lengths, like I mentioned, Swan Lake,
Usually a narrative kind of ballet.
Yes, exactly. But we also are very adept at contemporary works and new choreographers coming in and new works, which I think really energize and help our dancers grow as artists.
We also met some of Colorado Ballet's guest choreographers. How has meeting the dancers in this company changed the work or informed the work as you developed it?
That's a great question because especially when you know, I'm blessed. I've done works for other companies where I don't know the dancers, but not as much when I'm at the Pennsylvania Ballet or I'm working with my own dancers at Ballet X. I know the dancers very well, so I can already plan ahead. But with these dancers, you know, I went on the website and I knew one of the dancers and that was it. So the rest was, as I said, was just going to be a big surprise. And when you get here, you have to kind of make quick decisions with casting, who you're going to use. So first impression is huge.
When you got to meet them, were there surprises for you as you met this company?
Yes, I mean, I had known a couple of the choreographers who had worked here before, and they did inform me that they were very strong technically, and that the women were extremely strong in their point work. Because a lot of the work I do is in flat shoes for the women, or even bare feet.
So this must be kind of fun.
Yeah, so it's been fun, you know, especially with the ladies because they have such gorgeous ballet techniques. So I've been really using their footwork and the point shoe and kind of going, and you know, it's definitely one of my more classical pieces that I've done.
Local theater is a strong part of Colorado's creative community, and their work is no less ambitious than the major companies. Vintage Theater's executive producer Debbie Loretta and co-artistic director Craig A. Bond tell us about their first musical production, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Something for everybody coming tonight. Something that's funny, something that's funny. Something for everybody coming tonight.
Another important first for the Vintage Theater Company was the regional premiere of Avenue Q. And we got a glimpse of the opening weekend performance. Next, highlights from one of our many visits with the Denver Center Theater Company.
Now we shift gears. Mama Hated Diesels is making its world premiere at the Denver Center Theater Company. Eden takes us on stage to meet the creators of this rambunctious musical portrait of America's long-distance truckers.
So we're coming to you from the stage at the Denver Center Theater Company. It's the Stage Theater, and we're at the Denver truck stop for Mama Hated Diesels with the creators.
Way out yonder where the road disappears, I've been trying to get to that place for years. But the longer I drive day after day, that old road keeps slipping away.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Is that in the show?
It is in the show, yes.
What's the name of that piece?
It's called Rollin'.
Rollin'. The notion of this show seems very romantic, life on the road as a trucker over the road, but I can't really imagine what it entails to live that life. And it must have inspired you in some way.
Sure. Yeah.
And what was the inspiration for this particular piece?
Well, Randy and I work together, and usually the piece we're working on somewhere during the putting that together, especially in the rehearsals where there's a lot of downtime, and I sit around and sing a lot of songs, and I sang some coal mining songs, and we wrote a coal mining play. I sang a truck driving song, and Randy said, wow, you know, that could be a really good idea for a show. So he went out and started interviewing truck drivers, and I started gathering up songs.
We're talking about it as if it's a musical, but that doesn't really describe it.
No, I mean, you know, there's no rules anymore. I think the closest description might be Studs Terkel or Ken Burns live. You know, we use a lot of photographs in the show taken by Jim Steinberg. There's a song called Looking at the World Through a Windshield, and I think that's sort of the view we wanted with the slides. What do the truckers see across America?
I know you wanted to sort of leave us with a little piece. What's the name of it?
This is a Merle Haggard song, and I think this really is the soul of the piece. I think we both agree on that. It's a song called White Line Fever. White line fever, a sickness born down deep within my soul. White line fever, the years keep flying by like the highline poles. Wrinkles in my forehead show the miles I put behind me. They continue to remind me how fast I'm growing old. Guess I'll die with this fever in my soul.
That was lovely.
Merle knows how to write a song.
Yeah, and the playing was pretty good too.
Oh, I think.
We've loved bringing you Colorado red carpet moments. Here's a sample.
Good evening and welcome to In Focus. Tonight we're coming to you from the red carpet. Well, actually a blue carpet for the Denver Stars International Film Festival. We're here early so that we get a good spot just for you. How did you overcome this writer's objections and resistance to letting her book be made into a film?
I stalked her. I stalked that bitch. I stalked her.
And when
I
you
love
found
her.
What was your argument?
She loved me because she fell in love with me and my movies.
Tonight is Colorado Theater Guild's Henry Awards, and we're here at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts to meet all of the nominees and see who takes home the Henry for 2011.
Hi, Eden.
What is it like to see Colorado's theater community that you report on, that you champion so much, put on an event like the Henry Awards?
Well, it's definitely the theater night of the year in Colorado, and it just gives you an idea of just not only how much camaraderie there is among the community itself, which I think is fairly rare, but just how big the community is and how thriving theater is in Colorado.
Now a selection from our first 1-hour Henry Award special honoring Colorado theater.
Here is Ali Dunphy, Joni Brousseau-Bayette, and the cast of Boulder Dinner Theater's nominated production of Chicago. They're performing All That Jazz.
Come on, babe, why don't we paint the town? And all that jazz, I'm gonna rouge my knees and roll my stockings down. And all that jazz, start to come, I know a whoopee spot where the gin is cold, but the piano's hot. It's just a noisy hall where there's a nightly brawl, and all that jazz. Good. And all that jazz.
The national Broadway tours often have a surprising Colorado connection. Mary Poppins was a great example. Colorado native and assistant stage manager Tanya Gillette takes us backstage to show us how the magic works. As Michael Banks, Bryce Baldwin makes his return to Colorado.
You come into a theater and the local crew is really running the show. I mean, you can't do this without the local Denver crew. And so we're there, their first show, doing the show, is the first show in front of the audience. They get a tiny little bit of rehearsal, and then they're doing it live in front of the audience. The actors have been doing it.
Same for the orchestra, too.
Same for the orchestra. They get a little bit more rehearsal time than the crew does, but they're doing those first cues for the first time in front of an audience.
And even though you travel with everything, including your own version of the floor, you do have to put it into a different context every single city.
So as you can see, we're in the middle of putting together Mary Poppins. I say we, but it's a crew of many, 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 many smart people. Right here you have, they're just getting together the house, and this house is fully automated. It's gonna move up and down the stage. And then as we kind of continue on, one of the newest things in theater is this big LED wall, which does all the backlighting. So hundreds and hundreds of little LEDs. Big technology here, even though the audience doesn't really know it exists. It's a big part of our show.
And all of these different scenes that fly in.
Yes, and that's what Michelangelo right over there is in charge of. All of these that fly in, and those are all local guys. They're doing all the flying in. So their first time doing it in front of the audience, it's the first show. So he's the one helping them out there. 100 or so people all working to get this thing ready for Thursday night.
Some travel with you and some are local.
Yeah, I look at it like the department heads travel with us, and then the local people, they get the cues, and we all work together, and it's a great time because a lot of people have been through here so many times. It's old friends coming back together, so it's a great time.
Or they could be from here.
Or they could be from here, coming back.
Shrek's Princess Fiona Haven Burton got me into the act. This is the first time you're tap dancing?
Oh yes, this is the first time that I'm tap dancing.
Was it hard?
Taught myself. It was challenging.
Can you show me a little?
I sure can. Would you like to try?
Oh, you're not just going to show me, I'm going to try it.
Oh no, we're going to do this together.
Okay.
I think so.
Let's give it a go.
All right, sounds
Are we
good.
going to go down here?
Yeah, I think we should.
Ball change, roll yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8, ball change, 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 ball change. Great! That was awesome!
I didn't fall down.
No, that was great.
2011 marked the 40th anniversary of CLEO Parker Robinson Dance. It also marked the company's first visit to New Zealand. And CLEO created her first new work on her company in 10 years.
So this is it's a little different because you've invested so much, and it's a time that the economy is horrible, and people are saying people don't go to the theater and they don't have money for this, and this is, and I say, but the arts we need them like we need water. We need them like we need food. We have to have them. Our children need them, and they need them all over the world. They need wherever we go. So I then realized I have to say something. And then that's when I realized, well, where am I? I am in the West. Then I knew I had to say, this is my journey. I am a Western girl. I'm not an Eastern girl. I didn't come out of New York. I didn't come out of the South. I was born right here. What stories do I have to say as an African American woman? A woman of this rich culture that's right here. What do I have to say? And I'll tell it through the stories of others.
And that's what Dream Songs
And that's what Dream Songs is.
That ambitious trip and this long-awaited new work, does that mean that after 10 years of a break that we're going to be able to see more work coming with the CLEO Parker Robinson Dance?
Well, I think so. I think I love choreographing.
Well, I'm encouraged to hear that you think this is part of a series of works.
I do believe it. I think so. I pray so, because there are many stories that I couldn't tell. I think this is just the beginning. So I think there's more stories to be told. And I hope I encourage others, mostly young people, to tell their story. Because if they tell their stories, they'll be healthier and happier.
Thank you.
Honey, bless your heart. Bless your heart. You are fantastic. Oh my God, are you wonderful. God, she's great. You know that.
Congratulations to Eden Lane on your 100th episode from Opera, Colorado. We are very lucky to have someone like you who cares so passionately about the arts in our community. Thanks to you and to Colorado Public Television for covering the arts like no one else. Congratulations, Eden!
Congratulations on 100 episodes. I can't believe it because the show doesn't look a day past 30. Congratulations, Eden, and here's to another 100 shows.
Congratulations, Eden Lane, on your 100th episode.
Thank you so much for keeping Colorado arts in focus.
Local theater company appreciates you more than you know. Mwah!
That's all for this edition. Remember to join us on Facebook and Twitter. With all that Colorado has to offer, we're here to help you keep it in focus. Thanks for watching. Good night.